In 2022, the Philadelphia Eagles went to the Super Bowl, the best team in the NFC, almost won it. Hell of a game. Last year, Philadelphia started 10-1. Looked every bit as well. They didn't look every bit as good. There were all kinds of issues during that 10-1 start. But the 10-1 start turned into a 1-5 finish and then a blowout loss in the playoffs. More questions this year about Philadelphia at this time than last year, most assuredly. Teddy covers wagertalk.com. Let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles for 2024. They're aligned over under 10.5 wins at most books. And of course, the last 3 years where they have 9 wins, 12 wins, 11 wins since that 4-12 season in 2020. They've been good. Obviously, they've been real good for extended stretches, but not down the stretch last year. And boy, that made me happy. I had the Eagles under their win total on my report last year. It got there by a hook. It was a sweat and a half. They won all those crazy close games early on, stole games, rallied from double digits behind, kicked ridiculous field goals to get up that 10-1 start. I thought it was dead. It was not dead. The Eagles that I thought we were going to see all season continued, and they stopped winning lucky games down the stretch. They really did. It was an ugly finish, and an ugly finish resulted in pretty significant changes for Philadelphia. New offense coordinator, Kellen Moore, coming from Dallas. New defense coordinator, Vic Fangio, coming from Miami. Now remember, last year, both coordinators got poached to be head coaches, one in Indy, one in Arizona. The 2 new hires, they're both gone, and now we have 2 veterans. And they were both first-year, first-time coordinators for Philly last year. This time around, Kellen Moore experience with Dallas, Vic Fangio, he's been everywhere. You know, Fangio's at DC we can trust, even though his schemes in Miami, let's put it this way, the Dolphins, they didn't mesh. Whether it was a personnel problem, whether it was a personality problem, or a schematic problem. Fangio, a guy who's had success just about everywhere. Last year, Miami was like, bye-bye. You don't let the door hit you in the ass on your way out. So we don't know if it's an older coach who's now not being able to communicate well with the younger players, or whether Fangio is still, because in my mind, Fangio is always, top 3, top 5 defensive coordinator, a guy who we really respect. Right now, for this year, we're going to have to downgrade him at least a little bit. Nonetheless, going from 2 inexperienced coordinators to 2 veteran coordinators, I view that as a bonus and a plus for Nick Sirianni. Jalen Hurts was brilliant in 2022. Last year was okay. 8.0 yards per pass attempt in 2022. Last year, down to 7.2 yards per pass attempt and 15 interceptions. Backup Kenny Pickett, look, he can win you a game. Pickett was a starter in the league last year. I have no problem with Pickett as a backup here. They spent $37 million on Saquon Barkley, which I'm not a running back guy. I understand you want to get him away from a division rival, but it's not like running back's been an area of weakness for Philadelphia, and they've put a fair bit of resources into it. But okay, they spent money on Saquon Barkley. He's not going to hurt. And of course, obviously, we talk about this receiving core. A.J. Brown, he signed a 3-year extension. He'll be around. Devonta Smith, who's still on his rookie deal. Free agent signee Paris Campbell. It's a receiving core where the front end talent is great. They do not have a lot of depth. So if injuries strike Philadelphia receivers, that's something to pay attention to. On the offensive line, Jason Kelce retired. But look, they've got 2 dominant tackles. They've got depth. This OL is just fine going into 2024. Philadelphia, one of the things I've admired about this organization, about what Howie Roseman has done as GM there. And Roseman's not on the hot seat, by the way. He'll be around, even if Philly has a bad year. This is a stable organization in that regard. But one of the things I respect about Roseman is that he puts a lot of emphasis on building those lines, offensive line, defensive line. That's where the resources are. And then when they wanted to rebuild, that's where they first put resources into. And that's exactly the way I would do it if I was an NFL GM. So the offensive line looks pretty darn good on paper, even after Jason Kelce retired. Talk about the defense and the schedule in just a minute. First, I got to hype a little bit, guys. I appreciate you listening, but the NFL season win report is out already. I put it out in early July, to make sure that you guys can get the best of the number. Not like the report gets obsolete by August, but if you buy it now, you'll get the numbers I released at. I can't promise that down the road. The track record with the win report has been excellent. 100 wins, 50 losses, 3 pushes over 23 years since 2001. I've been putting them out. The big tickets, 16-4, 80% with those 5% plays. Last year we had the Green Bay Packers over 7.5 wins. They made me crazy the first half of the season and then did exactly what I thought they were going to do over the second half of the season, ended up getting a playoff win. Not bad for a team lined at 7.5 for the season. So we made money with the 5% big ticket report again last year, 16-4, 80% lifetime. This report is up right now. Visit my page, wt.buzz/TC, or just visit the website, wagertalk.com, and you can take $20 off the 2024 NFL season win reports. Just use promo code REPORT20 at checkout. Again, REPORT20 at checkout. It'll get you $20 off that NFL season win report. And if you like this NFL early content, I don't ask for much. I really don't. If you want to buy the package, great. If you don't, that's fine. All good. All I ask for is a like. Done. Thank you. Let's talk about defense for Philadelphia. This team last year was 25th in the NFL in yards per game allowed. They had 70 sacks in 2022. They only had 43 sacks last year. The defense took a big step down in 2023 compared to their Super Bowl season. They could have as many as 6 or 7 new starters on this defense. And they traded Hassan Reddick. Fletcher Cox retired. You have Jordan Davis, the first-round defensive tackle from 22, Jalen Carter from 23, 2 first-round guys that are supposed to be stuffing the run in the middle. They signed edge rusher Bryce Huff. He had 10 sacks with the Jets last year. That's a good pickup. The secondary is an interesting because, look, it all starts with the pass rush, which was way down from where it was last year, which made the secondary got lit up. They allowed 35 touchdown passes last year. That's the second most in the NFL. They allowed 65% completions. These are not good numbers against the pass. Cornerback Darius Slay is a 6-time Pro Bowler. He was injured last year. He's 33 years old now. But the top 2 picks in the draft were both cornerbacks. Quinion Mitchell from Toledo, Cooper DeJean from Iowa. That should help in a hurry. Now, you talk about rookie cornerbacks. Do we trust them? Do we not trust them? In the modern NFL era, the rookie cornerbacks have been just fine, especially the highly touted one. And I wouldn't argue with either one of these guys being helpful for Philadelphia. They're going to be shut down corners, and as a rookie, not likely. But for a defense that was dismal against the pass last year, I think they're an upgrade. Avonte Maddox was hurt last year. He's supposed to be back. Isaiah Rodgers was suspended for gambling last year. He's supposed to be back. So, yeah, this secondary should be a notch or 2 better, and the pass rush is there. And if the defensive line steps up, Philly might end up being a pretty good defensive team this year. They might be. That on paper, this defense looks to be better, a good notch or 2 better than it was last year. How that plays out is another question entirely. But, again, when you give up 65% completions, when you're 25th in yards per game allowed, those are stats that I expect Philly to be better at this year, which could lead to a couple more wins. From a schedule standpoint, NFC East teams face the AFC North and the NFC South as their 2 divisions. Lots of TV time for Philadelphia. They have 5 night games all before Thanksgiving, 2 Sunday night. They got a Friday night. They got a Monday night football, a Thursday night game. There are 3 extra games. They have Green Bay in Brazil, Jacksonville, and the Rams. So those aren't easy. They do have an easy finish for Philadelphia. They have 4 of their last 5 at home: Carolina, Pittsburgh, Washington, Dallas, and the G-Men. That's, if they're mediocre early, they'll have a chance to make a late run. And that, to me, is impactful when it comes to their season win total. Again, we're talking about a team that's lying 10.5 wins. I look at Philly, they're good, not great. I have concerns about some of their depth, certainly when it comes to offensive skill position talent. From a scheduling standpoint, from an organizational standpoint, we like this organization. And when you have that easy slate down the stretch, maybe Philly does the opposite of last year. Mediocre early, bet on in December and beyond. Interesting team. From a season win standpoint, I do not have a recommendation on the Philadelphia Eagles. Good, not great. Many question marks. For me, it's a pretty easy and clear pass for Philadelphia. Hey, I'll give you guys opinions when I have them. When I'm passing, I'm passing. And Philadelphia for their season wins. Not a team I'm going to get involved with. If you like this content, again, appreciate the likes, appreciate the follows, appreciate the comments very much. And if you want more NFL team previews, I've got all 32 NFL teams previewed right now for wagertalk.com. That's what I spent my early July doing. So be sure, click on another one and stay tuned for more strong content from wagertalk.com. Thanks for watching. Best of luck.